another successful weekend for you guys. A couple more Division II era records fall there on the men's side. You could kind of just talk about the overall approach to this last weekend.
Yeah, we went down there looking for some high-level performances, kind of some breakthroughs, and I think we walked away. We weren't upset or anything, but I don't think we walked away, pumping our fists in the air like we maybe thought we would coming home. It certainly was not a terrible day at all. People threw about on par, ran a little bit better, threw a little bit further than they had all season. So by no means do I want to make it seem like, hey, we walked away hanging our heads out of Washburn, but I think we just expected a little bit more.
Talk about Whitney Hansen, a fourth-place finish for her. She was one of the higher finishes, had a good time in the 800. Talk about her performance on the weekend.
I thought she ran a great race. She got into the fast heat of the women's 800, and she put herself in position to run a really good time, and she hung in there for as long as she could. And we just have to clean up a few things, and I think we'll get those 2 or 3 seconds that we've been looking for all year. But overall, I thought it was a great experience for her competing against non-NSIC competition or teams we have not seen before, and it was a national level type race. So I thought. She stepped up to the plate really well.
When an athlete sets a personal record, are they aware that they set the personal record? Did she come off the track
as a
excited?
Track and field athlete, you know what your PBs are, your PRs are, so what what your distances are in terms of if you're a thrower or jumper, or how fast you've run if you're a sprinter or distance runner. So I think they don't need to hear it from us. They certainly know that if they've run a PR when the race ends. So for season best, I think some of them are. Sometimes we have to tell them, but for the most part, I think they're well aware. When they've surpassed a time or a mark that they've hit already.
It's kind of turning into a bit of a broken record, but Lewis Cotterill and Jacob Jensen, those two Division II era records that were broken again this past weekend, and we've talked about those two at length so far this season. So just looking at it from a different perspective, is there any possible way that you could see those guys or potentially others that are competing for those records, for those excellent times and those distances, that they could get bored of those performances? And as in Jacob breaks the record this week, he's pushing those limits every weekend, it seems like. Is there any way that motivation kind of dies down, or do you see it just continuing to build?
I don't think any of them ever get tired of setting records. As an athlete, you're always looking to, further yourself and better yourself than you have before. So certainly I think, for Jacob, he's done a great job every week pushing the limits and being able to surpass his PB. So, I don't think he gets bored of it. I think he's looking for, that next PR. And then, fortunately for him, every time it's a PR, it's a school record. And same thing with Lewis. He's always looking to push the limits and run a little bit faster and, bring that time down a little bit more. And for him, if it's a PR, it'll be a school record. So, it's almost the same thing as winning. I don't think you ever get tired of winning. No one crosses the line and say, man, I can't believe I just won again. So I don't think either of them cross the line and say, hey, I can't believe, I'm getting bored of breaking the school record every week. I think it's the polar opposite that, when we talk to them post-race and we try to kind of break down what we saw, for those two, it's kind of like, hey, okay, if we had maybe done this, could we have gotten a few more seconds here or half a second there or so on and so forth. So I don't want to say it's a sense of disappointment, but almost it's like, man, like if I had just made this move a little bit earlier on, or I had, pushed a little bit harder in this part of the race, like maybe I could have run under 15 minutes, or I could have run, under 1:57 for Lewis. So I think that's kind of like the mentality of them, is that next time out we want to correct or do a little bit better than what we saw the previous time out. So
looking forward to this upcoming weekend, what are some of your expectations for both the men and the women?
So this will be our last competition before NSIC's a week later, and we got a few people that are right on the bubble. And so this weekend is all about, trying to cement ourselves and those individuals and booking their tickets to Mankato. I think we have quite a few that already know that they're going to get on that bus the following week, but there's a few that they could be in, could be out. This year being a little bit different with COVID, there's a different qualifying system, so it's the coaches have had to adapt and the athletes have had to adapt. It's a little more competitive, which certainly raises the level of not only our team but everybody in the conference. And this weekend we're heading down there to try to punch some more tickets to the conference championships a week later.
Who are some student athletes in particular that could really benefit and get that ticket punched going into the NSIC tournament from this weekend's action?
So we have 3 5K guys that they're all ranked in the top 25 in the conference. In a normal year, they would be in already. Being top 30 would get you in, but this year it's top 16 declared. So it creates a little bit of an unknown because there's some people in front of them that may not run that race at conference. So therefore, the list will get pushed back further into who's accepted. But we feel like if you're in the top 20, you stand a really good chance of getting into the meet. Tito Gonzalez, he's ranked 19th right now, so he's right there. He's probably maybe 6 seconds off of what would put him straight into the top 16. So he's someone that could benefit greatly. We've talked to some of the other coaches that are sending athletes down and trying to work together to get not only our athletes but hopefully their athletes to the conference championships. We're going to run a women's distance medley. We haven't done that all year. We were 2 seconds off the all-time school record last year, and I think we're a little revamped as well. Every team gets an entry into the conference championship, so it's not like we have to qualify, but there's some really good teams that are running, and we think maybe we can walk away with getting on that NCAA list, which we've been pushing for all season, and again, hopefully give them some confidence when they step to the line a week later that, hey, maybe we're putting ourselves in it to win it, come Saturday evening. And then there's a few throwers that are just outside the top 16, and some that are in the top 16, but you never know what's going around, the conference this weekend. So, I think Samuel Crines is sitting 16th in the shot put, and so there's a few others that, hey, right now you'd be in, but come Monday morning you could be out, so we don't want to take any risks, and we want to make sure that, hey, you solidify yourself of heading to the conference championships.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you.